Hi friends, always pleasure to talk to you on some contemporary topic, particularly in the context of personality development or HR or career growth and things like that. Today I choose to speak on a very important topic reflecting on my own experiences. Two biggest mistakes which I probably never wanted to make or in hindsight never should have made. What are those mistakes? Well, I don't claim to be someone who's got who's achieved something significant in life, but at the same time I think a tremendous amount of wisdom is with me in terms of experiences and good and bad which I've learned over the years. And from a career perspective or a career growth perspective, I am sure these two important mistakes which I've made or these two mistakes which I'm going to share with you are probably good to know from a point of view of what you should not do from a career perspective. In that sense, in all humility, I'm going to share these two mistakes with you. I urge you to watch till the end and probably make sure that you don't make two mistakes. The first mistake is don't keep rolling in a career. What do I mean by that? I'm not particularly talking about job stability or shifting of jobs and things like that. Yes, any sane person will not shift jobs very frequently, particularly in early stages of a career until you find your what I call as a success organization. Maybe a 3 to 5 year time period is an ideal one, but less than that you should be very careful in not shifting very frequently. Particularly in early career, there is a tendency amongst all of us to keep shifting because we get frustrated very fast and we really are not sure as to whether we are moving the right direction or not. But that is not what exactly I'm going to talk about. What I'm talking about is probably don't try to be someone who is an expert in too many things. That is the whole point of what I'm saying. That is why I'm saying don't be a rolling stone. A rolling stone gathers no mass, and when you have too much of skills and you think you are too well versed in many functional areas, or you know a little of too much, it is only harmful for your career. Today, particularly in the past 4-5 years, the career paths have changed tremendously. The job market has changed, and it's all about specialization, what I called as brutally niche specialization. In fact, I put another video about the whole idea of why the time and era of generalists is gone and it's a time of an era of niche specialists. I urge you to watch it, and of course this particular point or this particular mistake which I speak about also has a connection to that. Just to give you an example, I'm an engineer and an MBA. I did my engineering. I'm a civil engineer. I did my MBA in marketing, and between my engineering and MBA I worked for 4 years as a construction engineer. After my MBA, I probably dabbled in just multiple functional areas. I've been a sales guy for the first few years. Then I moved into marketing. Then someone told me that public relations is my calling, so I moved on to become a PR guy. Then after some time in PR, due to some unforeseen occurrences on that particular job front, I moved to a logistics company to head their regional operations. And subsequently, after that I moved into HR. I became a recruiter. I became an executive search professional. So it goes on and on. Today, if you ask me, yes, I've got multiple skills, and I'm very confident that in most of these functional areas I really excel. I can excel in PR. I can excel in sales. I can excel in marketing. I can really excel in senior recruitment, executive search, and stuff like that. But unfortunately, the world outside, the corporate world, doesn't perceive this as expertise, as something which they really want or something which they really can trust. Why I'm saying they don't need to trust it? Because the world out there or the job market out there, particularly the hiring managers or the hiring companies, feel that they want only experts in specific functional areas. For example, if you're a sales guy, are you a key account manager? If you're a marketing guy, have you got expertise in marketing FMCG goods, or have you got expertise in marketing or launching new products, launching new product development? Are you an expert in launching products in the Middle East or Far Eastern markets? Are you an inside sales expert focused on the US market or the European markets? If you're a finance guy, are you a revenue assurance professional? Do you have expertise in doing audits of pharmaceutical clients globally? Do you have expertise in handling consulting firms. So it goes on and on like that. So any specific area, niche is the in thing today. The generalist is pass. If you go to HR or recruitment, again, if you're talking about recruitment, have you hired VPs for technology or VPs for R&D for pharmaceutical companies? How many senior hires have you placed at that level? So, and or do you have experience in compensation and benefits, designing compensation benefits? Do you have expertise in managing retention of manpower or managing attrition? So every functional area, there are about 10-12 specializations easily which will come to your mind. If you are in a particular sub-function, you will very clearly know what are the niches which are going to rule the day, or at least what are the niches which you probably have a broad idea of, and where you should look at to specialize. So very clearly become a specialist in some one or two chosen areas, and then have a little knowledge of everything. That is the only way to shine in your career. And if you are someone like me who really has a passion in multiple areas, and you have some amount of domain knowledge in multiple areas, it won't take you anywhere, and it has not taken me anywhere literally. I'm not regretting anything at all. I'm not really regretting what I'm doing today in terms of being an independent consultant or a freelance consultant or an author and writer. But what I'm saying is, if you are really looking at big ticket success in your career, then you cannot be someone who is seen to be someone who is a jack of all trades and master of none. Yes, it might sound very brutal, but that is the truth. Even if you are good, or even if you are a good jack of all trades, nobody wants you today. Who is wanted is probably a master in one or two areas, and that is precisely how the hiring world is going. That is how the corporates are hiring today. So this is my first message to you, or lesson to you through my first mistake. Try and be a niche person. Try and be someone who specializes in one or two areas, and try and be someone who will really excel in those areas and build a career in very clearly carved out in those carved out niche. Otherwise, believe me, your career is really doomed, and there is no hope further. This might sound very harsh, but that is reality. Number two, the very most important and probably much more important than what the first mistake is. The second mistake which I have made is, I probably never pursued a secondary stream of income right from early part of my career. Believe me, today money is the most important thing that rules the world. Money is also an important thing which will rule your life. There are a lot of people who say that money is not important. It is people who are important, networking who is important, human values is important. But yes, it's all fine. But if rainy day cometh, I think unless otherwise you require money for your emergency needs, you require money to tend to your family, you require money to handle your personal front, professional growth, children's growth, spouse's interest, in-laws' interests, your own parents' well-being and things like that. At the end of the day, the fundamental root cause of all these multiple commitments which you have, the only solution for that is money. So if somebody is going to tell you that money is not really important, you shouldn't chase money, I'd only say that they're playing a very crude joke on you. No, I'm not saying you should be money minded or you should be greedy, but what I'm saying is, make sure that you continuously earn money, number one, through a day job. But at the same time, given that there's a lot of uncertainty in today's full-time jobs, make sure that you constantly work on a secondary source of income right from early part of a career. And it is never late, even if you are in the middle of a career today, or sometime somewhere in your mid-40s. Try and start cultivating a secondary source of income. Now, how to cultivate the secondary source of income, I leave it to you. There are multiple options. Two things. One is, you have to be ethical. You cannot do something which you are doing in your day job to earn your extra income. And number two, as long as there is no conflict of interest with your present employment or employer or your present job, and you are earning something through your other skills, then nobody is going to stop you in terms of trying to building the revenue stream. And believe me, in hindsight, if I had followed this particular rule in mind about 10-15 years back, or even 5 years back, my life would have been much better today. Of course, my life has been fraught with much more uncertainties, or much more shocking U-turns than one would expect in any normal life. But I'm sure all of your lives will have some amount of ups and downs, and sometimes if these downs are very steep and the gradient is very, very tough to handle. It will throw you out of gear, and years of your hard work and savings will just vanish in thin air because you didn't have a secondary source of income. That is on one front. The other front is, again, as I said, today's job market is very, very uncertain. Pink slips are getting more and more common now. I'm not saying all of us will get pink slips, but what happens is majority of us could be having a stable jobs, but at least 20-25% of us are in for uncertain times, in the sense that we might have very, very unexpected turns happening on the job front. There might be possibilities that because of external and internal changes in the environment, we might be asked to go, and this can happen suddenly also. In such situations, always having a secondary source of income, or having consciously cultivated the secondary source of income, is going to be of immense help to you, not alone in being happy on the monetary front, but also keeping your peace in place, keeping your family's peace in place, keeping your entire family's happiness in place. Believe me, these are very, very well thought out words which come as wisdom in hindsight. I have seen the toughest parts of life in this aspect. Of course, there are no complaints, but if I had consciously worked on a secondary stream of income, maybe even 10-20 years back, things would have been much better today. And I want each one of your lives to be much better than mine. And that is why I say you consciously start working on a secondary source of income. There is nothing wrong in pursuing a secondary source of income. And if we find excuses like, no, my full-time job, I'm very, very happy, I'm earning more than enough in a full-time job, so I see no reason to pursue a secondary source of income. All I have to tell you is one root shock is required in your life to make you realize the power of secondary source of income and the power of incremental money in your bank. Incremental money in your bank is a permanent need. It is not a one-off need. Anything can happen 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line, and one big blow on the cost front or your expense front, maybe a medical emergency in the family, maybe an uncertain issue in the family, or maybe a legal tussle in the family, whatever, will throw you out of gear, and your entire life lived till date could become meaningless for the lack of money. What better way than having all the money required for yourself with you, rather than look for someone else, borrowing from people, or asking for help from your parents or in-laws or whomever if there is a need. Never get into that dire strait, never get into that situation. And if you have to not get into the situation, the only way is, I emphasize, to have a secondary source of money right now, beginning today. You can be anywhere in your career. You can be 20-year-old, you can be 25-year-old, you can be 40-year-old, or you can be 45-year-old. Believe me, today is the day to start your secondary source of income. And if you don't do that, 10 years down the line, I can assure you that you probably will look back and think, yes, Muralidharan was right. Secondary source of income is very much essential in life. I'm emphasizing, maybe it might sound like emphasizing too much on money, but believe me, with hard experience, I can tell you that money is the biggest cushion both for happiness, for mental life, and all the physical comforts and good health. So take this, learn from this mistake of mine and take this advice very, very seriously. It is in your own welfare that I'm telling you that never commit the mistake of not having a secondary source of income. Having a good bank balance, having a lot of money and things like that are a natural fallout of having more than one income. Of course, you are having your first source of income through your day job, and a secondary source of income is only going to supplement all your needs for the rest of your life. And another one is, even in a bad day, even if you face a pink slip, without any hesitation, you can pursue this secondary source of income more vigorously, so that you can probably see that you earn more on that front rather than depending fully on a day job. Of course, there can be a gap after a pink slip, and after some time you'll get back your day job, but to fill in the blanks of life's expenses, the secondary source of income starting early in life is going to be extremely useful. So these are the two fundamental, very, very big mistakes which I have made. The first mistake is being a rolling stone, assuming that I'm a jack of all trades. Yes, I am a jack of all trades, I have no doubt about it, but unfortunately the world does not need a jack of all trades. The world requires niche specialists. And number two, lack of income or lack of a secondary source of income is going to hurt you very badly. It is not alone going to cost you professionally, it is also going to take a huge toll on your personal life, just in case you get into trouble financially. So I request you to reflect on these two topics which I spoke today. I am sure you will take it as the right spirit, and I am sure whatever I said is probably in your overall welfare. Wish you all the very best, and again I reiterate, don't do these big mistakes in life, and don't really try and venture doing these two mistakes in life. One, build a secondary source of income as quick as possible, and two, become a niche specialist, don't remain a generalist. Thank you for listening. I'll sure be happy to have your comments on this, and please leave your comments if you want me to talk about some other topics as well. Thanks for your time. Have a wonderful time ahead.